What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, June 6th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 16:43 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East and also from Europe. So it looks like Israel is on the verge of going to war with Hezbollah. So, senior U.S. officials have reportedly told the Israeli government in recent weeks that they are worried about any kind of limited war against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon that would lead to Iran attempting to intervene, likely causing a major war across the Middle East. And I reported 2 days ago that Iran sent a warning to the U.S. through a third party that if Israel goes after Hezbollah, then Iran would get directly involved. So U.S. officials are concerned about a war against Hezbollah. They're afraid that Iran would intervene and then things would escalate and it would bring the U.S. into the war. And today we had nonstop rocket and drone alerts in northern Israel near the border of Lebanon. Israel and Hezbollah exchanged missile and rocket fire. There was a huge fire in the town of Jaqara in southern Lebanon after an Israeli airstrike today. And there were numerous rocket impacts in northern Israel today in Kiryat Shimona. Some of these rockets targeted a shopping mall, and Hezbollah fired an Iranian Sayad 2 surface to air missile at an Israeli F 16 for the first time. So, this is concerning because if they have a lot of these Iranian surface to air missiles, it's going to deny Israel the ability to have air superiority over southern Lebanon, and it would make it more difficult for them to establish air superiority. Okay, but we're hearing from a lot of Israeli politicians that they want to shift the focus to the north now and less on Gaza and Rafah. And it appears that the latest ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas have collapsed. The leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, said Hamas will not surrender its guns or sign a proposal that asks for that, according to Arab mediators. And a senior Israeli official told Israeli News 12 that Israel has offered everything they can. There is no more to give. And if Hamas refuses this deal, then Israel is done. Okay, so this could be the final straw. And I don't think there's going to be a ceasefire, guys. Okay, Netanyahu said repeatedly over and over and over and over that he's not going to stop until he finishes the entire operation, which is going to require them to go into Rafah, which is a densely populated city right on the border of Egypt. Egypt has already warned Israel that if they go into Rafah, Egypt could potentially go to war with Israel, and Egypt has already massed equipment and forces in the Sinai Peninsula. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, You just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video, which violates an agreement that they signed with Israel in the 70s. And now Israel's considering going into southern Lebanon. Okay, so get prepared, guys. Things are about to spiral out of control in the Middle East. And today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. So wanted to just remind you guys of that. Just keep your thoughts and prayers with our men and women in uniform. If not for their sacrifices, we would not have the life we have in America. Okay, we enjoy a lot of freedoms. As bad as things are right now in this country, it could be a lot worse. And if not for these guys you see right here on the screen, we would all be speaking German. Okay, so never forget the sacrifices made by our forces in World War II. Okay, we basically saved the world from the Nazis. And Russia requested a meeting of the UN Security Council on June 14th in connection with the permission of Ukraine using Western weapons to strike deep inside of Russia. And during Biden's D-Day speech today in Normandy, he called Putin a tyrant and said he was bent on domination. Wow. And French President Emmanuel Macron made a huge announcement today at the D-Day anniversary commemoration. He announced plans to transfer Mirage 2000-5 multi-role fighter jets to Ukraine. This updated variant features advanced avionics, countermeasures, radars, and weapons for air-to-air, air-to-ground, and air-to-sea. Okay, so the Mirage 2000 is basically France's best fighter jet. Okay, it's a really, really good fighter jet. I think it's better than the F-16. And actually, the Mirage 2000s are nuclear capable. France uses a variant of their Mirage 2000 for delivery of their hypersonic, air-launched, nuclear-tipped missile, okay? So this is very, very serious, guys. France is going to be giving Ukraine their best fighter jets that are nuclear-capable, multi-role, air-to-air, air-to-ground, air-to-sea, advanced radars, advanced avionics, advanced countermeasures. I mean, this is huge, guys, okay? And we know that France has already sent troops into Ukraine, supposedly just instructors, okay? And a few days ago, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov confirmed that they are fair game for Russian forces. So we're going to have Russian forces now trying to kill French forces in Ukraine. You see how this is escalating, a slippery slope to world war? Okay, first it started with javelins, then it went to HIMARS, then it went to M1 Abrams and Bradleys. Now we're up to ATACMS, and now we're talking about allowing Ukraine to strike deep inside of Russia. Okay, they've already gotten permission to strike in the Kharkiv Oblast area and right over the border from Kharkiv, and Ukraine has already destroyed an S-400 air defense battery with a HIMARS system, basically embarrassing Russia because that's one of their best, actually that is their best air defense, and Ukraine destroyed it with an American missile system. And now we're giving them our most advanced fighter jets. And by the way, when they get these fighter jets, the F-16s, the Mirage 2000s, the Swedish Gripens, or whatever other plane they're going to be getting from other allies, I guarantee you they're going to be cleared to fly into Russian airspace with them, because that's really the only way that these fighter jets are going to be effective, is to be able to fly into Russian territory and bombard all of these Russian forces that are massed right outside of Ukraine, and they're pummeling Ukraine with artillery from inside of Russia. So I guarantee you they're going to be cleared to do that. And I think that's going to push Putin over the edge, especially these deep strikes. If the U.S. allows Ukraine to conduct deep strikes would mean like over 50 miles into Russia with, storm shadows, scalp missiles, whatever missiles they get from the West. They're going to be allowed to strike deep into Russia now, okay? And Ukraine has already taken out 3 of Russia's long range radars that are part of their early warning system for ballistic missiles. And they took out the S-400 in Belgorod. So this is clearly a preparation of the battlefield. Okay, Ukraine is taking out these radars, these air defenses, before they get their fighter jets, because they're going to be flying these fighter jets right up to the Russian border, or maybe even into Russia. I guarantee you they're going to fly into Russia. Otherwise, it would make no sense. Why would they fly fighter jets over their own airspace? That makes absolutely zero sense. They're going to have to fly into occupied Ukraine and then into parts of Russia to destroy all the Russian units, okay? A French citizen was arrested in Moscow today on charges that he failed to register as a foreign agent with relevant authorities, the Russian state media TASS reported. So isn't that interesting? After France announces they're going to be giving Ukraine the Mirage 2000s, and after they announce that they're sending instructors to Ukraine, suddenly Russia arrests a French citizen. Okay, I don't think that's a coincidence. Obviously, a tit for tat. And the Ukrainian army has apparently sunk another ship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet near Chornomorsk in Crimea. And the Ukrainian armed forces used a kamikaze drone to attack another oil depot in Russia. This one was in Stade Oskal in Belgorod. And the Polish soldier that was stabbed by a migrant on the Belarus-Polish border has now died of his injuries. Okay, so Poland built a huge border fence along their border with Belarus, but the thing is it's not a solid wall. They have like these steel pipes, and there's little gaps in the fence, in between these steel pipes. There's like several inches of space that you can use to throw things or whatever. And they apparently tied a knife to a branch and they threw like a spear at this Polish soldier, and he has now died. And we're now hearing reports that Polish soldiers have been starting to fire warning shots at these migrants that are trying to attack them. Okay. So the situation there is escalating, and there's also a push by Polish society and Polish politicians to now allow Polish soldiers to shoot these migrants in certain extreme cases, like the one that caused this Polish soldier to die. Okay, so this is very, very serious. Tensions between Belarus and Poland are just so high right now. Belarus just recently held joint air exercises with the Russian Air Force. They've put 3 of their provinces in a wartime mode, okay, a state of emergency. They've done nuclear drills with Russia, tactical nuclear drills. They have S-400s positioned just a few miles from the Polish border up in Grodno, and then down in Brest. They have 2 S-400 batteries just 5 miles from the Polish border. They also have Iskander missiles right near Poland. So this is very, very serious. I'm very concerned that Russia and Belarus could try to attack Poland and most likely Lithuania. And we have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert this afternoon. We currently have 3 nuclear war command and control planes in the air over the continental United States. We also have a B-52 nuclear bomber looping over Louisiana. And we did have some nuclear attack options transmitted to a tactical unit. And potentially this bomber here over Louisiana, but there were some nuclear attack options that were transmitted to one of our bombers. And these nuclear war command and control planes are responsible for communicating with our submerged nuclear armed submarines. They are able to transmit emergency action messages and emergency war orders to our subs through VLF, very low frequency. They have a special antenna that they use so they can penetrate the ocean, okay, and reach those submarines. They can also remotely launch all of our Minuteman III ICBMs. I want to just play a recording of one of these emergency action messages from this afternoon going out to one of our bombers. These are nuclear attack options going out to one of our bombers. Listen. So you hear how he says 4, I think, Veal 3-1, 4 Veal 3-1. When you hear that, that means it's going out to a bomber, okay, or some type of a tactical unit. They're addressing that specific plane. That's their call sign, Veal 3-1 or whatever it is. 4 Veal 3-1, that's a tactical unit, most likely a bomber flying with its transponder off. And then he proceeded to read off the emergency action message there. And we had more of these aerial refuelers and reconnaissance planes off the coast of Baja California last night. There were probably about a dozen aerial refuelers and reconnaissance planes and AWACS planes. Here you can see 2 E-3 Sentries and a rivet joint, and also probably about half a dozen refuelers in this area off of Baja California near the Guadalupe Island. You can see this one RC-135, which is a reconnaissance plane, flew down past the Guadalupe Island and it disappeared from the flight tracker, and then it came back. And this is the area where the FAA issued a NOTAM about Russian rocket impacts, that Russia was going to launch missiles into this area. And then a day after they put the NOTAM up, they pulled it because they found out that people were talking about it on social media and people like me were warning about it. And so the military canceled it, and they said that this was due to a Russian rocket launch going up into space and not because they were firing missiles, which I think is just a bogus cover story. Here's another screenshot showing all these aerial refuelers going down towards the Guadalupe Island area. And here's a picture of this supposed Iron Dome launcher that was destroyed by Hezbollah the other day. And it turns out that this was actually just a decoy. So this is not a real Iron Dome launcher. The Israelis made a decoy. Looks like it was made of just sheet metal or even plastic. Okay, a very good copy of a real Iron Dome launcher, but just a decoy. So that's pretty interesting. And we currently have severe thunderstorm watches for the mid-Atlantic region, Eastern Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Southern New Jersey. All these areas are under a severe thunderstorm watch. And yesterday evening, we had a tornado go over Maryland and destroy some towns in the DC suburbs. So we could potentially see more tornadoes here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And right now, we don't have any hurricane activity or tropical activity in the Atlantic basin, but it is going to start picking up in the coming weeks. And I do expect a very active hurricane season this year, simply because we're going into a La Nina. We're coming off of an El Nino, and we're starting back into a La Nina. And La Ninas always favor landfalling hurricanes along the eastern seaboard. Okay, so if you live anywhere from Texas to Florida and from Florida all the way up to Maine, okay, the entire eastern seaboard from Maine down to Miami and the entire Gulf Coast, you need to be on high alert. Okay, you need to have a hurricane plan, you need an evacuation plan. Think about food, water, and your emergency supplies, okay? Because I do think we're going to see several large and powerful hurricanes making landfall along the eastern seaboard. We also had a moderate solar flare recently. An M6.1 solar flare has caused a moderate radio blackout. And astronomers have now detected a really bizarre signal from space that repeats every hour, cycling through 3 different states. While they have some ideas about its origin, it can't be explained by our current understanding of physics. The signal first appeared in data gathered by the ASCAP radio telescope in Australia. That's kind of a funny word, ASCAP. Okay, that wasn't really meant to be funny, but that's how it sounds when you read it, ASCAP, which watches a big swath of sky at once for transient pulses, officially designated ASCAP J1935 plus 2148. The signal seems to repeat every 53.8 minutes. Whatever it is, the signal cycles through 3 different states. Sometimes it shoots out bright flashes that last between 10 and 50 seconds and have a linear polarization, meaning the radio waves all point in the same direction. Other times, its pulses are much weaker with a circular polarization lasting just 370 milliseconds, and sometimes the object misses its cue and stays silent. What is intriguing is how this object displays 3 distinct emission states, each with properties entirely dissimilar from the others, said Dr. Manisha Kaleb, lead author of the study. The Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa played a crucial role in distinguishing between these states. If the signals didn't arise from the same point in the sky, we would not have believed it to be the same object producing these different signals. Wow. So very, very concerning. Okay, some strange signal coming from outer space exhibiting 3 different states, and the signal repeats every 53.8 minutes like clockwork. And Indonesia's Mount Ibu volcano has erupted twice in the same day, firing bright red lava and rocks into the night sky and triggering a spectacular display of volcanic lightning. The 1,300-meter volcano on the eastern island of Halmahera erupted twice on Thursday. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tonight with another update. I will be going live, so keep an eye out. I will be posting the live soon, probably going to be around 2200 Eastern time. So until later on tonight, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.